AITA for getting mad with my fiancé for going on vacation with his sister on our anniversary. I have been dating my fiancé for 5 years. I work a full-time job and study at the same time, so I have a very busy schedule. My fiancé told me he wanted to go on a vacation around 2 months ago. I told him that I was really busy, so it would depend on the date, but not in September, as I have a big exam on the last week. At that point, I got mad because he never considers how busy I am. He didn't mention it again until 4 days ago, when he told me that he's going on a vacation with his sister for a week. Wednesday next week is our anniversary. I got really angry with him because he didn't tell me he was leaving, and he didn't include me in the plan at any point. He argues that he did tell me, as I told him I was busy. We fought because I consider that he was hiding it from me and he should at least have told me when he was leaving, and he should have chosen a different week. Am I the asshole? Edit for info. 1. He knows our anniversary is on Wednesday. We usually celebrate. 2. I told him I had a very important exam on the 26th of September. This exam has been set for 3 months. He knew when the exam was all along. 3. He did the same thing last year when I was starting a new project at work in a new team and department. He knew that I could not get leave days on that specific week as it was my starting week. Regardless, he chose that week to take a vacation even though I had specifically asked for him to change dates. 4. We live apart. I always make time for special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, etc. We sometimes spend more than a week apart due to our busy schedules. He only works and does not study. We actually have by law a minimum of 22 leave days a year. 5. He implied when he decided what leave days to take that he wanted to spend with me our anniversary. 6. Neither of us have children. 7. I am not in school/university. I do not get a rest from studying during summer. I am trying to pass a competition to work for the government, which is quite difficult. 8. I am not mad that he's gone on our anniversary, although it obviously makes me sad. I am mad because he did not have the decency to tell me. 9. For what I could see through Instagram, he is indeed with his sister. Comment. He did the same thing last year when I was starting a new project at work in a new team and department. He knew that I could not get leave days on that specific week as it was my starting week. Regardless, he chose that week to take a vacation even though I had specifically asked for him to change dates. It honestly sounds like he is trying to sabotage whatever important thing you've got going at the time he schedules these vacations in an effort to try and get you to cancel them to go with him instead. Is he insecure about your career? Do you make more money than him or something? You're not mad he's gone on your anniversary? I would be. I would be mad and hurt that he didn't consider me. He could have easily stayed and made your anniversary really special. Instead, he didn't care enough to bother. Sorry, but is he even going with his sister? This guy would be a no for me. How sure up is her fiancé is going on this vacation with his sister? Seems a little sus for me considering that's the second time he go on a trip without her after planning it on a well-known busy period for her. He's not that into you. Long engagements are placeholders until he finds the one. Don't be like me and drag him into every life event kicking and screaming while you are unloved and made to feel not important enough. Making plans when you're in a long-term relationship should mean keeping your partner aware of things, at least to some degree. For some people and some relationships, anniversaries aren't a big deal. You're in a better position to know how significantly they've been celebrated in the past, but oh, by the way, I'm out of town next week isn't the way you should have found out you'd be alone this year, even if you would otherwise be okay with that. My friend told me that on her first day of grad school there was a lecture about paying attention to the family member/boyfriend/partner in your life who will choose to pick fights with you or always seem to be in crisis when you most need to focus on your program. You told him September is going to be really stressful for me, so he booked for your anniversary so you'd be maximally distracted? I don't know if this is a pattern, but maybe just keep your eyes open. This was deliberate on his part. He has done this to you before. He is literally sabotaging your studies. In 5 years he knows that you have important exam times yet chooses to do things on those days when it would upset, distract, and stress you out. He may be insecure or just plain selfish. I once was with someone like that. It ended because he wanted the benefits of what I was working for but didn't like that my attention wasn't focused on him or his needs. Is this someone you want to spend your life with? Once your studies are over he will do this when you have important work projects/events. If you think this is a relationship worth saving, go to couples counseling. Maybe he will realize that this is unhealthy in your relationship. If he doesn't, you really need to sit and think if this is what you want in your future. This is showing a lack or respect or care for you and your needs. He could have waited until after your exam so you two could go away together. I find it odd doing it when you said you can't go with his sister. This isn't the guy for you, and I think you already know it. I'm a little confused. Why would you not want him to go on vacation when you have an exam? That sounds like the perfect time to go because you won't have him around while you're trying to study. You can study as much as you need to leading up to the exam, so really I think that's a smart choice. I mean, the part of him going on your anniversary makes him kind of the and it seems like he hides things from you and then pops them up later acting like he didn't realize you'd be mad, which is messed up. I just really don't understand why you're upset about this exam when you should be thrilled with the free time to study. Next story 2. AITA for calling my husband when he invited a friend in, and letting him know I was in my pajamas. I live in a great little house with my husband, 33M, and our 2 dogs. The front door is in the living area, from which you can see the hallway with the 2 bedrooms and bathroom. So from almost the entire living area you can clearly see anyone entering or exiting any of those rooms, especially our bedroom. The bedrooms are small, so we don't have room to keep our clothes in our bedroom, and keep them in the second bedroom. It's also relevant to note I usually just wear underwear and a shirt, no pants or bra, basically whenever I'm home, because it's comfortable. Since we have moved in, we've had problems with him occasionally inviting guests into the house without telling me or giving any warning. As you can imagine, this is very awkward for me, as I can either yell out that I'm in my underwear and can't say hi, walk out of the room in my underwear to get to the second bedroom, or pretend I'm not there and hope they don't go to the bathroom, where you can see into our bedroom, or see my car and realize I was hiding and wonder why. I can't close the bedroom door either without it being heard clearly in the living room. Many times I have not realized people were inside and almost come out in my underwear, and once came out in a towel. We got into a big argument last week, because I told him I'm not sure what else to say to get him to stop. I would prefer more warning, but even 5 seconds is enough to run into the second bedroom. Anyway, he promised this time he really would make sure he didn't keep inviting people over and inside without telling me. Today he had plans to go to the football game with friends/co-workers, whom I assumed he was meeting at the game. He looked out the window this evening and said Drew is here already, and started rushing around. I wasn't sure why Drew was there, but asked 3 times if I should change into clothes, pointing out it would be polite to invite Drew in. He said no each time, that the house was a little messy so he didn't want anyone inside. 2 minutes later I hear the door, but assume he's telling Drew he'll be out in a minute. I am about to come out, but hear a voice I'm not sure if my husband's. I call out asking my husband if someone is in the house. He responds yes. I ask him to come over, but instead he just leans over the dog gate, which he had closed prior to door opening, and said what, loudly. I told him as quietly as I could that I was in my PJs. He exasperatedly said he knew, and 1 minute. I had just wanted him to maybe ask Drew to go to the kitchen for a second or something so I could get to the second bedroom to change. He tells me Drew went to wait outside, and indicates I am tough for making Drew uncomfortable, that I should have just been quiet and pretended I wasn't there or something. He says, like always, that he didn't know he was going to invite Drew in and it just would have been a short time. He wouldn't invite Drew back in after I changed. I did go out and say hi, and explain a little. AITA. Comment. What a weird situation for your husband to constantly put you in. I'd either start greeting his guests in my PJs, hoping that would shock hubby into remembering going forward, buy a robe, or leave an emergency spare set of clothes under the bed or something in my room. He's being super inconsiderate, and it isn't even something that's a huge ordeal for him to accommodate you on. I'd talk to him again, but no longer leave it in his court to help you know if guests will be over. Our husband is a DB with no regard to you. Your home is your safe place, and he should always make sure you are good before inviting anyone over or inside the house. I'd go outside naked in front of his friends so he can learn his lesson. If he doesn't want his friends to see, he better change the way he invites people with no warning. But that's just me. Well, I am sorry that this is the one thing he can't seem to fix with you, especially knowing how you feel. I hope that it works out for you guys in the end so that you both feel comfortable in your own home. Sometimes it just takes that one jolt to wake them up, so if you do that, please stand tall for yourself if he tries to flip the situation on you and tries to make you feel bad. Sending you positive vibes in hopes that it works out. Your husband is ignoring you and letting guys into the house while you're not decent, and doesn't care enough to even communicate with you. Not okay. You don't need to come out and greet people when you're in your PJs. Don't worry about that. Close your door if you're uncomfortable being out. Not your problem. Your husband is ignoring you and letting guys into the house while you're not decent, and doesn't care enough to even communicate with you. Not okay. You don't need to come out and greet people when you're in your PJs. Don't worry about that. Close your door if you're uncomfortable being out. Not your problem. You're in your underwear and a t-shirt. You're essentially wearing what you would wear at the beach. Maybe more. Stop being so polite. Your husband is making choices and you're stressing out trying to deal with the consequences of those decisions. Let him deal with them. Also, next time instead of saying pajamas just yell that you're naked. Your guests will understand they need to give you some privacy. ETA also ask your husband why he believes his guests' comfort is more important than your comfort. You're in your home. You shouldn't ever be made to feel like you're not sure of who or when someone's in your house. Not sure why your husband gets annoyed by it, but the two of you live together and it's a very valid concern. This situation in particular is very jarring considering you were repeating the same concern mere minutes before he did the same thing again. He genuinely needs to get over himself and learn to say something ahead of time. Your husband is very inconsiderate, but in this situation you needed to greet his friend. Sounds like they were only gonna be there for a minute or two and your husband told you not to change, so he was actively aware and would have probably prevented any awkward encounters.